Konnichiwa. Hello. Thank you for joining. You're the one I want. Yokoso Freedom Friday. Watashi wa Sensei Jackson Dash. I'm a confident, bold, inspiring, worthy leader. As I think, so shall I be. So thank you for joining Freedom Friday. Once again, I'm Dr. Nakiba Jackson, and I'm welcoming you to my channel. So if you've been watching and you're, or if this is your first time to the channel, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Freedom Friday is the channel that I've been sharing for a few years now, where I've been discussing my journey as I'm releasing the weight of the past to free up my future. It's mainly wellness. As we know, wellness is mind, body, and spirit. And so initially I started talking about my journey as I was on the road to dropping the 252. I was in a leadership program, or a mindset makeover leadership program. And why I did not get specifically to that goal, I had a lot of wins along the way that I get to take with me, and I get to continue to share and cherish as I continue to go on this journey called life. So thank you for watching again. So if you've been watching me for the past few weeks, I've been discussing being transparent. And in my transparency, I shared, how I've gotten the fracture in my foot. It's called a cuboid fracture, by the way. And I've been walking around with the fracture for a few months before I finally went to the doctor to actually confirm what it was. In the midst of it, I've been seeing, they're called a bone specialist, Hanagori here. And so they do acupuncture, they do different things like a chiropractor to do manipulations to help your body holistically. And I'm in Japan, so for me, the care is not necessarily the same in the U.S., meaning it's not a bad quality of care, it's just a different quality of care. In the U.S., I'm used to being medicated for everything. And honestly, when I did go to the doctor, and it was a Japanese doctor, they initially said they would have recommended surgery in the beginning, but because it's been a couple of months and that's generally the time it takes to heal with surgery, they would recommend that, continue with the treatment. So for me, what that meant was for me to become intentional about my treatment. And the other thing is focus on how I got here and what's the purpose. So with that said, this week I want to talk about responsibility. The freedom to have responsibility, or freedom to be responsible, right? So in the mindset makeover, we were talking about different levels of responsibleness. And when I talk about responsible, is it sounds good to say, yeah, I'm responsible for this person, but do I really know what that means when I say I'm responsible for this person? I'm responsible for this. It's taking ownership of what's happened, being in charge. So there's different ways we can say I take responsibility, meaning, hey, I don't really believe I'm the cause of it. Or you can actually say, I am responsible. So I'm the reason why it happened. I'm the effect. I created the situation to happen. And so in the leadership course that we were listening to Joe Dispenza as well. And it's talking about those responsibility levels, right? And so for me, what was going on at the time, like I said, I've been in Japan for a couple of years, and different things were going on for me. And I also have goals that I was working towards getting. And honestly, it's like I became very slow or very discouraged in the goals that I was working on for myself. And in the process of that, I stopped focusing on my goals, and I just started allowing life to just be. And so in the process, I found out I needed my gallbladder removed, and at the point when I found out, I was like my numbers were very bad, like liver failure bad. And so I end up getting the care that I need to take care of that immediately. And then eventually I got my gallbladder removed. And so in the process of getting the gallbladder removed, I stayed in a hospital for about a week and came home and didn't go to work. So the goal was to sit home and take some time to give my body a chance to heal and go back to work. So I literally had a week that I was sitting home. I wasn't even out of surgery for a week, and I got up and was going to do something and tripped, and that's how the fracture came. So the first thing that happened when I fell and I looked down at my foot. Matter of fact, I didn't look at my foot. I'm gonna be honest. I did not look at my foot because I don't like to see blood. And I was thinking, this is really bad. And I was like, I don't want to get another surgery. Like, I literally was out of surgery in a week, and I was like, I don't want to get another surgery. So with that said, that was the first thing that I did that I definitely know that I'm responsible for where I'm at right now, right? I can look back and say, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas in this life. However, it doesn't serve us for the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. It's to look at where we are and decide how we got there, and then own up to what purpose is it serving for us. So that's the part of I'm responsible for it. So what was going on in my mind, I just had surgery. I just got out of surgery. And then, honestly, that was in February. Janet Jackson was coming here in March, and I was like, I'm going to see Janet Jackson. Everybody kept asking, oh, no, I'm going to see Janet Jackson. So when my foot got broken, apparently, I was like, yeah, if I go to the doctor, they're going to tell me it's broken. They're going to make me stay off of it, and it's going to impact me going to see Janet Jackson. Not going to let that happen. So with that said, I decided that whatever's going on, my body can heal. And maybe it's God's way of telling me, take a rest, take a break, focus on other things, right? Some things that I was doing in the process of my healing was going to the gym to work out, to do boxing, because I like to do boxing, and have a good trainer here. He has recently opened his gym. And so what it required me to do was park my car, then walk. Listen, I was walking, I was struggling because my foot was still swell up in the process. So in the process, after I initially got injured, I wasn't going to go to the doctor, like to the hospital, to let them look at it because I didn't want to know per se. But I felt like in the back of my mind, I already knew it was bad. When I looked at my foot, it was swollen and I could hardly walk. Matter of fact, I felt like I didn't need to walk. And then my right foot was swollen, my left knee was swollen. And so it was like, how you generally can overcompensate on the other side. I couldn't even do that. So it was very, I'll be honest, I was kind of scared when it happened. So when my daughter felt like it was her responsibility to take care of me, that was the first thing. I'm like, it is not her responsibility to take care of me. Once again, I say responsibility. I feel like for me, she didn't get me in that situation. I got myself in that situation. So it was my responsibility to get myself out of this situation. And then also, I wanted to make sure that she got to see me. There are times when we need help, and there's times when we can help ourselves. And so in this sense, it was an opportunity for me to be in control of myself, take ownership for where I was and why I was where I'm at. And then honestly allow her to see that where we are, we came here knowing no one, but there's also a community out here that supports us. So so for me, honestly, the first part that I'm going to talk about, and I don't want it to be this long this week, just about, when you're responsible, what does it mean to be responsible? And so for me, it means ownership for where you are. Not just saying it's not mine, but understanding that you're actually the cause of it happening. And it happens for a purpose for you based off something you want in your life. So for me, when the fall occurred, I was moving a lot. I was doing, I was always not relaxing. and I was always trying to get to the next thing. Um, the other part that I definitely believe that I'm responsible for it because I wanted to go. So the fact that it's not healed is also a part of my responsibility because it was more important for me to go to a concert to not get another surgery. I wanted to allow myself the time to let it heal on its own. Honestly, I didn't even look at what it could mean for a fracture. In that sense, I was given responsibility to like the bone clinic. I was like, well, what do you think could be wrong with it? And they wrapped it up. At no time did I decide to go to the doctor, which I really could have, but I chose not to. And in choosing not to go to the doctor, I was intentionally slowing down my healing process, right? And in intentionally slowing down my healing process, or I was intentionally being ignorant to what was going on per se. And in being intentional, I didn't have to accept responsibility. However, in essence, I was being responsible for the process because without knowledge, we perish, right? And so, because I could own to the fact that I didn't know that it was broken, I could walk as if it wasn't broken, but to pay attention to the signs that was showing that it was something that was not right. So, yeah, responsibility is something that is a big thing for us to look at and say where we are with our level of responsibility. Like, are we really feeling like we're the cause of what happened? When you realize you're the cause of what happens, it means you can actually have an impact on the outcome of what happens, right? So because I want to be better in my nutrition, and I want to be stronger in my arms and stronger in other parts of my body, I created a situation to take the stress off of my feet and allow me to be able to do things on a natural basis, right? So when the doctor told me, well, it's been a couple of months, so just work with what you've been working with and, come back in a couple of months to see how it's healing. That's also given me an opportunity to see how my body heals, right? And so because in my mind initially I thought, well, hey, my body can heal itself. And then that's the thing, your body really can heal itself. It's the choices that we make along the way. So with that said, responsibility is something, just to say I'm responsible. It's a big responsibility to say you're responsible, right? You can't pick and choose which parts of the journey that you're responsible for unless you don't want to be in charge or in control of what the outcome is. And the outcome is really a part of what your vision is for yourself, right? Move out of victim mode and be more into solution driven. And it doesn't mean that you don't get to accept help. It means you get to look at all avenues of how help comes to and for you. And it allows you to be able to choose what's right for you. So with that said, that's what I wanted to share about responsibility in this week and what I'm learning. If I'm able to, I will share some pictures of the journey. These past couple of weeks, my daughter and I, we've been doing something. So like prior to me getting injured and prior to me being sick, we were going on a lot of trips, or we were going on trips a couple of times a month to once a month at least, and just getting to enjoy different parts of Japan. And so the trips here, a lot of the times there's a lot of walking. And so when I was injured, of course, I was being very careful because they don't tell you that there's walking, but you'll get there and you see that it's walking and it's like, oh my goodness. And then the steps here are just seemingly like the craziest steps in the world. And I'm probably exaggerating somewhat, but from a standpoint when you're walking and your foot swells up, it's like you get to pay attention to what your body is telling you and you be responsible, right? Be responsible for what goes on. Like for me, I can take a short walk, take the pressure off my foot, like it's being wrapped up. Then I do have like a little shoe that kind of helps stabilize it somewhat. So we went to, so one of the things we did, we went to see like a wisteria forest or a wisteria tree. And when we were there were so many bumblebees. The bumblebees were crazy. So in Japan, they're not big on like scents. So one of the first thing my daughter was like, all those scents you wear, because I wear butters, scented butters. She was like, you shouldn't wear them because it's offensive. And I'm like, well, okay. So I still wear my butter. So I went out to the flower place. There's bumblebees. So what's around me? Bumblebees, flowers. So I'm like, this was not the smartest decision to do. So I've heard bumblebees don't attack humans per se, but it was very scary to see them. But it was beautiful. And in the realm of that, the following week we went to volunteer with our church to go see some youth at like a foster home, which was a really good experience for us. And then we joined one of the local choirs here, and we sang with them at a facility. So it was nice. It was a pretty good weekend. I'm getting to enjoy Japan. And then the last thing we did, like this past week, we went out to, it's a place we went to before, but it's like a Hawaiian type of place. And they have Hawaiian style food. But we went there and we enjoyed a meal. And I will say, I usually, well, I don't, I'll say I drink, but I don't drink. So I got a beverage that was generally alcoholic, but I didn't get the alcohol in there, and I'm usually a sweet beverage person, and I didn't drink it all. So in the realm of being responsibility, I'm working on being present in the moment, enjoying the surroundings, and letting life happen and enjoying the experience while I'm in the life that I'm in. So if you watched this far, please like the video, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. So enjoy your day. Until next week. Bye. Eh.